Welcome to Xenoblade Chronicles X with the Chronicle Bros. I'm Jordan.
I'm Daniel.
I am Will.
Yeah,
That was a good seg. Chronicle Bros. I like it.
Yeah, the Chronicle Bros with Xenoblade Chronicles.
This is a thematic look.
One thing that I noticed that was early in this thing was that the menus do not work unless you use the D-pad.
Weird.
Oh, that's odd. This is for the Wii U, though, is it not? Like,
Yeah.
Can't you use the touch screen, touchpad?
Sometimes.
I get so angry when Wii U games don't let me use the touchscreen to navigate menus. I'm like, come on, guys.
Smash Bros is the biggest
You had one
offender.
job. Yeah, Smash Bros is the worst in this.
Space, the final frontier. These
All right,
are the
so
voyages
we're
of the
not-
starship Xenoblade. Its Wii U mission, to explore strange new worlds, to use weird new RPG systems, to boldly go where no Nintendo game has gone before.
Except for the first one.
Now, does this take place in a galaxy far, far away, though?
Sort of. You'll see, because this is like basically the first few minutes is basically the opening cutscene for this game, and it explains all the backstory, which is basically how Earth got fucked.
Right.
And it's funny because I was like, I actually like this scenario because has any of you ever watched the old movie Titan AE?
No.
Oh, God.
I remember
that was
seeing
a
ads
90s
for
movie.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of what the plot is, and it's like, you know, if I was thinking, you know, if we realistically consider that we make contact with an alien civilization in the near future, this is probably what's going to happen.
Oh, not Independence Day? I thought it was totally going to be like Independence Day when that happens.
I've also
Yeah.
never seen Independence Day.
Yeah,
Ooh.
so stuff is happening.
Stuff is happening. Aliens are coming, I guess, right?
Aliens
They're
are
aliens,
coming.
I
Are you a
assume.
bad enough dude to rescue the president?
Sorry, your princess is on another planet.
Oh boy. Is this what we're doing now? We're just gonna quote old games?
Yeah.
Is that the plan?
Sorry,
that not
the nostalgia level is hitting hard.
I'm gonna have to get out of here.
If there's one thing this game is really good at so far, it's its sense of scale.
Oh, so can you set up this game for us, Jordan? Because I personally I have no experience with Xenoblade Chronicles at all, other than I have a buddy who loves using Shulk in Smash Bros. But that's about it.
Basically, that's the extent of my experience with it too. 'Cause I haven't played Xenoblade Chronicles with the ones with Shulk. So like my experience with Xenoblade is exclusively with this game, and I haven't had enough time to play this game a lot recently. So I've only played it for, you know, a few hours. And so basically the backstory from what I understand here is that there's Earth, there's two warring alien civilization that nobody knows anything about, and Earth is kind of in the crossfire for some odd reason. And they completely fuck up the Earth. And right now, what it's showing is the arcs. So they basically made a whole bunch of arcs to carry populations of humans, and send them out into space to find a new home world because they knew the attack was coming, but they could not do shit about it.
So we're totally innocent bystanders in all this.
Basically.
To your knowledge, from what you've played so far.
From what I played so far, I could be totally wrong, but the from what this game is telling me at least so far is just like, yeah, Earth just got fucked because it was just sort of on the sidelines. So right now, the White Whale, which is one of the main ships, the Arcs, escaped, even though most of the Arcs were actually destroyed in the crossfire. And yeah, the aliens found them, and they're not too happy about it.
Now we're having cool Gundam mech fights.
Yeah, I'm digging this opening
cool.
cinematic cutscene. I didn't even realize, like, I was totally taken into it.
Yeah, robots, man, robots.
Yeah,
No, like
you can't go wrong with robots.
You cannot.
I like the opening cutscene because it's like it gives us such grand sense of scale, and suddenly like all this stuff is happening, and it looks really, really cool.
Yeah. So we should point out, I guess, that we're not going to be playing through this entire game, right? Like we're just going to be. This is sort of a little look at the first hour or so of this game, right?
Yeah. So I recorded like me going through the prologue, so for the first hour. So yeah, right now, when they got attacked by the aliens again, they happened to be right beside a habitable planet, and they sort of the ship didn't make it, but the habitat unit did. So they are
Right.
just
So we're on
trying. Yeah.
We're on an uncharted planet.
Yeah.
And trying to, I guess,
survive.
Make a new human civilization happen.
Yeah.
Like you're basically trying to colonize this planet, right?
Pretty much. So the first part of this is actually just not going to be too much because I was like, one thing that sort of struck me is that when I heard about this game is that you can make your own character, right? So I was like, I want to push this thing and see how in depth or how goofy this entire character creation thing can go. And I just tried a whole bunch of things because I was like, okay, how detailed is this? And it's not very, to be honest with you.
There's a lot of presets here already established, but I assume you can change up these presets to your liking.
That's actually a very wrong assumption.
Oh.
You can't. Like, basically what these are not, they're not presets, they're bases. So you have to pick one of them that you like, base it, and then deal with the details of that. You can't act.
That's like a pretty standard system, I think, though, right? Like a lot of character creators will do that, or they'll at least they'll give you a default to sort of start from, and then you can
True, but I mean, like, I was like, there was two things I was looking at this character creation thing for. One was like, how like Mass Effects is it? Because I mean, Mass Effects was really, really in depth, right? I think Mass Effect was really good at like making character creation not to the point of redundancy, but actually like mostly got it really, really nice. Mm-hmm. And it made you really, really identify with that character. This one, not so much because
I don't know. Look at all these skin tones you have,
and you could even change like your body proportions and size.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
That was actually the second thing that I was looking into this game into, because if there's one thing I hate about character creation, it was like, make a character that looks like you, and then it tells you to pick between like 50 Shades of White.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, I'm not white. I would like to, make a black character, and not a lot of games that do character creation do really do that. And so I was like thinking, okay, is this going to make me be one of those kind of games, or am I actually going to have to customize what this character really looks like? And I will give it credit; it actually does. Like, you can give it like you can give it many different skin colors, and it's funny because you could even make yourself look like an Oompa Loompa, because you could make yourself like orange or purple or some really, really wacky color. And I think
because you could potentially. I mean, would you be like an alien? I guess. Is this like Earth? Like, is this Earth in the future? Are there? Is Earth like really?
Well,
does Earth have a bunch of like aliens that habitate with humans on it, or did it?
No, not that I know of, because like I think the story starts at like 2050 something, right. So not too far in the future. But like, I would just use this opportunity to really just see how far the character customization goes. It turns out, like, basically you don't really get that much control. You get to try to pick which flavor of Bishonen do you really want to be, or Bishoujo if you want to be a girl. So yeah.
I kind of so you were talking about the Mass Effect character creator, and I like the Mass Effect one. I love the Mass Effect games. I should preface my statement with that. Those are like my favorite game series. I'm actually thinking about getting a Mass Effect themed tattoo over the next couple days, perhaps.
Nice.
But Mass Effect is like I don't like having to deal with a bunch of sliders. Like, I don't like when it's like, okay, you have change all three axes of like your chin. That's just like a little bit more than I actually want. This system looks okay in that it's sort of like, maybe you can't really change the facial shape so much, but you can sort of change the other stuff on there. I kind of like that myself. I find the slider stuff to be a little bit more detailed than I actually want. And my favorite character creation system, or one of them, is have either of you guys ever played Def Jam Fight for New York?
No.
So that's actually a really cool game. It's PS2, GameCube, Xbox era, where it's like a fighting game where all the characters are a bunch of rappers. Like rappers.
I heard of it.
The bad guy is Snoop Dogg. But it's actually like as a fighting game, it's like actually pretty cool. I mean, it's not super deep, but it's like pretty interesting. It feels really good.
We must stop Snoop Dogg's evil plan to smoke weed every day.
Wow. So it's like just like playing. So like a lot of the bigger rappers are like playing characters. So like the main character or the main bad guy is called Crow. So it says like Crow played by Snoop Dogg.
Oh man, that's amazing.
It's pretty cool. So they have a thing there. They have this whole like sort of 6 to 8 hour campaign where you're like taking over the streets and sort of trying to regain your territory and all of these sorts of things. But the game starts with you breaking your boss out of prison. And then how they do the character creation is that it's actually like a police sketch. Like it's someone talking to a police like sketch artist.
That's
and
actually
being
really
like,
nice.
okay, describe the eyes to me. And it's not super robust. Like you only get like, 8 selections of eye types or like 8 chins or whatever. But, and then that comes out as like a drawing. And then once that's done, you say, okay, and it like converts it to a 3D model.
That's
it's like a
actually
pretty
really
neat and really elegant character creation system.
Yeah,
even if
Yeah, it's
clever.
very seamless. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think right now I was starting to get more in depth with the character creator, and then I started screwing around like probably a few minutes after this. But I thought this was like a good segment to like really talk about like character creation in other games, because I actually think Mass Effect, in some cases, I think you're right. It did give like stupid amounts of detail to like certain things, but I liked it because it gave you essentially access to a lot of the like attributes or elements of like your face that actually seem to make a face. And some character creators I've tried in the past they get to the point of absurdity when it comes to like certain facial features, and it's like, oh geez, why do I even care about this value when it only makes like one part of my face like slightly lower or slightly higher.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I'm looking at this menu we're on right now with the eyes. I'm like, Jesus, that's a lot of detail.
I was actually going to say that I think it's pretty cool that you get to pick like a crazy pupil pattern.
But the thing is, though, you're never going to see it.
Right, like you wear I mean that's sort of like the like the Skyrim, that's like the Bethesda problem of like you spend all this time in the character creator making a face, and then you're just gonna have a helmet on for the whole time anyway.
And you can't see your face either.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like I actually thought like I haven't played too much Skyrim, but I actually thought the character creation in Skyrim was completely redundant.
It's not great. It's not great. Do you find that when you're creating a character, you're like always trying to make yourself?
By default, sometimes I do, but the latest game I've played was something called Freedom Wars. I don't know if you guys have played it. It's a Vita exclusive, I believe. I thought the character creation model there was pretty in depth, but at the same time didn't give you like so much freedom. The problem is, no matter what you came up with, you were gonna look like an anime character, even if you tried to make yourself. I
don't think that's a problem. Like, I think the idea of trying to stay within the style of the game makes sense.
Well, yeah. To your question though, like, for me, it really depends on really what game I'm playing. And I mean, if it really wants me to make an avatar that represents myself, then, subconsciously I do want to represent myself, or if I want to represent something else in the context of this thing, for example, like Mass Effect, when you do character creation, it can actually make a really, really big effect on how you perceive the character. Like, I mean, whenever I see people play Mass Effect and I see Commander Shepard, I'm like, that's not Commander Shepard.
Oh, yeah, I have that same reaction of that is not what Commander Shepard looks like.
Yeah. He has an N4 tattoo, too. But on here. But
this is cool.
But the thing is, like, when it comes to some games, I do hate how they lock you into a certain sort of definition of how you're supposed to look like, because if you ever have you guys played Fire Emblem Awakening?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you don't really get much control for how you're.
No, you get like 8 faces and 8 hairstyles or something, right?
And most of the face, like, I think half the faces are kind of irrelevant, and then you get like the hairstyles. I'm like, you can change the color. Great.
The problem is when it locks you into that limbo where like you want to make yourself, but like you don't have enough options to, and then you sort of come up with this awkward sort of rendition of yourself, and I don't know. I find it more difficult to relate to my character after that. So sometimes I'll just make something completely unique, or just make it a female character.
I love these clown faces; they're amazing.
Yeah. I find that I've been like that. I used to gravitate, like, every time I was faced with a character creator, I would always try to make myself. And like, as I've sort of continued to play games, I've sort of found myself trying to think about it as creating a character and less like just making a representation of myself in the game.
Right.
Yeah, but although sometimes it can get a bit like when they really, really want you to be so personal with the thing, they can get a bit ridiculous how you can't customize. Like I had this revelation playing the 3DS Animal Crossing game, and I'm just thinking like they want you to make everything personal and everything. I'm like, well, that still does not look like anything like me.
Yeah, I mean that game sucks.
I can't change.
That game sucks especially because like to be black in that game you have to sunburn yourself and do that like every day.
Oh, is that how you do it? Oh.
Yeah.
About that, and it's only temporary too.
Yeah, so that's like a cultural norms sort of thing, though, right? Because you're talking about Japan, which is very mono-racial, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not saying that makes it excusable. I think that sucks, obviously, but like, you know, you can see where that sort of comes from, I guess.
I do. It's just that if it's going to ask me to like make this thing to represent me, then give me the tools to do so. It becomes frustrating when you don't have that.
Totally.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm a white dude, so like, for me, it's like I've never had to feel that way, which obviously speaks to the problem.
Yeah, but I think I'm almost done with the character creation. But I think, I started doing Oompa Loompas over here. I think at this point.
So how many are you? This whole time you've been creating one character, or have you been like creating multiple characters?
One. I just essentially this was just me fooling around with the character creator and seeing how far I could push it. But it was. You see?
Oh boy! Whoa!
I was
Rave
after
party.
saw that, I was like, I'm tempted to just like make some really random colored guy.
This is like every alien I've ever seen in this Star Trek original series.
I think by the time I got to this color, I was just sort of laughing my ass off. But
I would make myself weird if I was playing this game specifically. There's something about like this game that makes it conducive to being a weirdly colored person.
yeah,
But the species is still human, right? So I guess this game assumes, or not assumes, but in this point of Earth, we've evolved to the point where we're just every color of
the rainbow.
Of the rainbow, yeah.
Space human.
Yeah, you can even the thing I find really weird about this character creator is that you can change which voice actor voices him, but he never actually he never actually speaks. He only speaks in battle when he announces his attacks like a Street Fighter character.
Right, so it's just like barks, right? Like it's
basically
just yelling.
Which means it doesn't really matter. I think my guy's voiced by
I still like that stuff. I would still want my character to grunt differently if I have the choice.
Well, he doesn't grunt either.
Oh.
He like in cutscenes when it asks you how you want to respond, he basically just nods or shakes his head.
Now, can you customize the nod?
No. But yeah, you're and you find like the character creator just pretty much puts you into a situation where you have to create a Bishonen version of whatever you want to look like.
Right.
Or
Cool.